60% of the global population is exactly $400 away from total financial liquidation. A single medical invoice, a sudden automotive transmission failure, or a baseline home repair will instantly push them into a compounding, inescapable death spiral. This is not an accident. This extreme, razor-thin fragility is not the result of you buying a cup of coffee. It is a highly engineered architectural feature of the modern macroeconomic system. When you live completely exposed to the physical friction of daily life without a structural shield, your brain is locked into a perpetual state of biological panic. You are not living, you are merely surviving. And a population trapped in survival mode is incredibly easy to control. They are highly dependent on corporate employment, terrified of political shifts, and entirely incapable of building generational wealth. The traditional system wants you completely consumed by immediate short-term liabilities. It wants you borrowing from predatory lenders just to keep the lights on, because your financial desperation is the exact fuel that powers their multi-trillion-dollar credit industry. You are currently operating inside a fragile economic matrix where you are exactly one minor emergency away from absolute zero. Mainstream financial media programs you to focus on accumulating millions. They tell you to fixate on a distant, impossible retirement number. That is a deliberate distraction. The most critical mathematical threshold in your entire financial existence is not $1 million. It is the baseline fiat buffer of exactly $2,000. $2,000 will not fund your retirement. It will not buy you luxury real estate. But in the physics of macroeconomic survival, it is the absolute line of demarcation between systemic enslavement and strategic freedom. Let us break down the unforgiving mathematics of this threshold. When your checking account hovers near zero, poverty charges you a compounding penalty. You pay late fees. You absorb predatory interest rates. You accept worse terms because you lack the immediate liquidity to negotiate. The system actively extracts capital from you simply because you are unbuffered. But the exact second you lock down a $2,000 fiat fortress, the structural game reverses. A $1,200 repair bill is no longer a psychological catastrophe that ruins your month. It is just a processed invoice. You write the check, the physical asset is repaired, and your core lifestyle remains perfectly undisturbed. The $2,000 rule acts as a kinetic shock absorber. It effortlessly absorbs the violent impacts of a decaying economy, ensuring that your long-term capital strategy can move forward without a single interruption. Without this structural shield, your entire life is compromised by desperation. Let us dissect the psychological leverage the corporate matrix holds over you. When your baseline liquidity is zero, you are completely subservient to your employer. You tolerate toxic corporate mandates. You accept stagnant wages that are structurally melting against inflation. You stay completely silent during meetings because you know the gap between your family and physical eviction is exactly one missed paycheck. You are playing a defensive game 100% of the time. This paralysis extends directly to your wealth accumulation. If an asymmetric, high-upside investment opportunity appears on the global ledger, you are mathematically forced to ignore it. Your brain correctly whispers that you cannot afford to risk a single currency unit because your immediate survival demands every drop of liquidity. The global elite grow exponentially wealthier because they possess the buffer required to hold scarce assets through extreme macroeconomic volatility. The underbuffered retail class is systematically forced to panic sell their prime assets at the absolute bottom of the market just to buy groceries. By failing to build the $2,000 barrier, you are effectively consenting to be the institutional elite's exit liquidity.
The rogue extraction. To cross this mathematical line, you must execute a total rogue extraction strategy. You do not achieve this by passively saving whatever residue is left at the end of the month. The legacy banking applications are specifically designed by behavioral psychologists to make spending frictionless and saving psychologically painful. You must aggressively reverse this architecture through violent automation. The exact microsecond your fiat salary hits your primary ledger, a predetermined percentage must be automatically routed out. You extract the capital into a private defense reserve before your human psychology can intervene to spend it. We are not talking about clipping coupons or adopting a poverty mindset. We are talking about starving the commercial parasites. Commercial credit card debt is an active wealth extraction mechanism engineered to bleed your net worth while you sleep, destroy the high-interest balances, cut off the systemic leeches, channel every single unit of recovered liquidity directly into your $2,000 emergency vault. Treat this baseline buffer as sacred. It is an unalterable foundation. It is never breached for temporary lifestyle inflation. It is your financial oxygen. The sovereign transition. The moment the $2,000 vault securely locks, a profound biological shift inside your brain. The ambient, low-level anxiety that has dictated your daily existence for years instantly evaporates. You step off the treadmill of immediate desperation. You have officially bought yourself time. And in the global financial matrix, time is the ultimate leverage. With your baseline defense fully operational, every single excess dollar you generate is no longer a terrified survival token. It becomes a calculated, offensive soldier. You do not send these soldiers into the noisy casino of active day trading. You transition into an offensive posture of cold, automated accumulation. You establish a strict dollar-cost average into absolute, unprintable digital scarcity. You strip human emotion entirely out of the execution loop. You quietly acquire the cryptographic infrastructure of the future digital ledger, extracting your wealth from a dying fiat architecture. The system relies on your permanent panic. It demands that you stay fragile, over-leveraged, and constantly exposed to friction. Break the contract. Secure the shock absorber. By establishing the $2,000 barrier, you cease to be a vulnerable node in a collapsing fiat network. You didn't just save an emergency fund. You built an unbreachable fortress. You became sovereign.